was doing it an hour before 12 o'clock, but I still made it to day 7 of Vlogmas. Um, really am not gonna be on here long. It's probably gonna be less than 10 minutes tonight. But y'all know how when it comes around this time, we're talking about Christmas, Christmas, maybe occasionally Hanukkah, Boxing Day, and so forth. Do y'all notice it's one commercial? They have like certain commercials they play every year. The M&M's commercial slash Hershey Kids commercial, and sometimes, well, I don't watch as many. Most of the stuff I watch online or through streaming and stuff, and try to, if possible, able to skip through the commercials. So most of the time, y'all, let's say the rare chance if I watch the news, even that could be streaming the different how they set the commercials now, and not just the way like how they set the commercials is different, but say through YouTube, since like I said, let's I get a free trial premium or discounted or whenever I feel like in the future to go ahead and say, yeah, y'all, my face was extra ashy, so yeah, I had to get some Vaseline. But anyway, besides the point. Now, um, Lord, I had put too much Vaseline on. Now it's on the damn shirt. Oh well, it's what it is. Well, but anyways, what I was going back is that this one particular commercial, like I said, the only time occasionally, as long as the commercials are not too long, I'll let them play in between if I'm watching somebody's YouTube channel has monetization on it and has ads playing. 'Cause sometimes y'all, and they've been doing that for several years, and occasionally you still have to be careful listening to commercials because sometimes commercials you think it's commercial and it could be a whole long show, an hour, hour and a half, or a full blown podcast and stuff. Um, so interesting enough, right before I go, I forgot. I think I was watching Power, season 4, the review recap. I haven't watched Ashley Miller's yet, but I for its rock. Shout out my YouTube, one of my YouTube comments, Sash Shell, because I don't know why I thought like she did, but that's not the video I was watching. I'm just remembering. But anyways, y'all, I actually had listened a little bit, and it's that Rona commercial because the beer. I don't want the name to sound close to Rona. That mess that's been almost about going on 6 years ago. That mess that started came over here, but the beer sounds similar, and my pronunciation is sometimes a lot of words is messed up. So I'm just gonna say Rona, but the beer and it'd be a palm tree, and there's always one palm tree light with these Christmas lights on it, and they have to think this on old Christmas tree. That's it. It's a simple commercial that's less than maybe about 30 seconds maximum, okay? And I think be saying Feliz Navidad or Merry Christmas, whatever. I look on the commercial, and then it seemed a little bit longer than usual. I'm like, okay, it still sound like they're playing waves of commercials. And if I didn't click off of it, because I'm like, maybe it's a extended version, and maybe because since, like I said, I'm not used to really listening to commercials like that in most cases. Or, like even some of the ads you can get if y'all, let the ads play and they're not that long, they either could be from Tickety Talk or from other YouTube channels they self they'll pay, to have ads play, whether it's a video, or anything, or just anything that, that shows, locates what is on their channel or channels, okay? So, or, I think even occasional Facebook or Instagram. So, I sat there and literally started hearing the commercial play. And when I clicked on it, because I'm like, why is this still going? Okay, it's been about two something minutes. Like I said, I'm thinking like maybe because I don't remember that commercial, maybe there always been a longer version of this commercial. And I just haven't heard from it for today. And when I clicked on, excuse me, the sponsors and going into it, y'all, that commercial's about an hour long when I looked to. I guess it's like some type of Christmas AMR. So it's basically like you're seeing the same thing. And you sitting on from a POV standpoint, you looking like you on the beach, and it's a extended 1 hour version of that commercial that they said 2005. So a new version where if people want to sit there and listen and watch the pine, I said pine trees. I meant to say palm trees, not palm trees. Palm, ain't no pine trees. They took it at. But But it was pretty interesting. So has any of y'all seen that? I didn't know it was with that beer that sounds close to Rona's. I'll just leave it as that. Had a commercial, a stinted commercial for about an hour, I guess, for AMR slash meditation. You just want to listen to sounds. I didn't know they did that, but that's pretty interesting. So I'm like, oh well, this is new. I don't know. I should look at, but it just kind of threw me off, whatever. Not threw me off, but like I said, I didn't know it was a an extended 1 hour commercial. I didn't even know there'd be people be looping stuff together. So I don't know if it's a commercial. I clicked off of it once I realized it was about exactly an hour long. So I'm like, I ain't about to listen to commercial unless I go back to it, just see and maybe double speed just to see what it was doing. Okay. It's just my notifications. Okay. All right. But besides that, it's so much still back and forth controversy. I was originally going to list all the winners of the streamer awards, and that's something where it's up to grass if I'm going to do a separate video on or not, because controversy, like with what was said, it seems like certain stuff was targeted, how they did some of the black creators slash streamers there. You got Playboy Max, which they got Deshae Frost's name, where Playboy Max is supposed to be. I mean, they got Playboy Max is supposed to be Deshae Frost. They did the same thing. Tyrell, who also stood for Kai Sinet, and then they got Reggie. Well, I call him Reggie, which I found out beginning of this year and stuff like with the Batman thing. That's what I kind of found out when Kai Sinet was doing this Batman marathon. And he was on the last one playing Robin, and he's also a coming out for Be More, and he's a comedian stuff. Hey, the person came in, but here's the thing, y'all. They got Reggie's name instead of turning Ilson. So they did a lot of like, and I didn't know because I didn't watch those streaming wars, and nor would I know everybody there. But it was pretty weird that okay, that's the second time y'all messing up people's names up, and it's only seemed to be the black curators. I don't know if that's somewhere. Then it's Agent getting teased. Now he lost another 70 pounds. Like he's been on this weight journey for years now. Okay, and he lost some more weight. Now he's under 200 pounds. And I thought that was stuff he just rebuilt himself last week. And then you got somebody saying it was Zimic like he didn't like naturally lose the weight or something. It's just like just congratulate the man or not say nothing at all. Just I didn't know that was said neither until I looked at somebody. I think her name is Blasian Baby Lane. I got look her up, and she had like she's got a set like she's doing a little, newscasting and stuff. And was saying like, okay, that was really ridiculous to bring up the Kais and that thing, even if he did use to joke about the dealer thing, just to think that, um, like y'all couldn't think of nothing else to say about Kais and that. It really is ridiculous, and not just saying like even like he looks like him. They're basically the comment was saying like how he has this documentary based on him. Now with the devil did Diddler and what he did, that's the problem also as well. Is that that's nothing to joke about. Reason why I kind of like brought Brent Faiyaz in here, because recently again they had posted him. Now Ben Faiyaz, which is one of the most toxic, well, admitted toxic R&B singers. Because if you think about the weekend, he's in between pop and R&B, and a lot of, if y'all think about a lot of R&B singers do toxic stuff. They may have like nice songs sometimes, but a lot of them be caught in a lot of BS. There's certain ones who said F it. We just gonna tell you the shit right then that we toxic as hell. And so so recent Brent Fires, who's been known for years. I honestly did not know about Brent Fires, so he was featured on that show with Gold Link, the rappers. Hey, come on. Crew that came out with it 2017 and stuff like that. That's when the first time I heard. I didn't know he was, out that long with the group Sounder and all this other stuff, but it was just like going around stirring stuff with Brent Fires, and like I said, hey, because I mean, how are you tonight? I hope you're doing well. I'm up here just trying to do some blockness and stuff. But hey, cuz I hope you are doing well out there. It's cold out here. But yeah, but Brent Fires is like such. Dang, I wish I could like her comment, uh, cousin Nika. But I was glad to catch you on the line. This is quite awesome. But yeah, y'all, I was just looking like the history bit fries. But what I do like about him is, he cut off his hair. Now he started to show look like he been in the gym more, he look buff and spade, whatever. But looking how certain stuff is like how he's a known toxic R&B singer. But I have to give it him props for this point. Not only is he a good singer, but he let you know flat out in the face. And I've been seeing a couple, like, I don't know if y'all seen lately online, like, Instagram, or you can recommend it. It's been a couple people who did skits about some of his songs that recently came out. Oh, always love. Like, she is so underrated, y'all. My cousin Nika, she is so underrated. Always showing love and support. And talk about give her flowers, give her a crown, whatever. Now, just I'm trying to remember. Hey, Junior, yo, twins, ain't y'all birthday this month? I'm trying to remember. I know so many people, so my family, and know so many people's birthday is in December. I thought I remembered that your birthday is this month as well. But it's happy birthday, but also happy holidays and stuff, and a prosperous new year, just prosperous time for y'all, even if it ain't y'all birthday. But I thought, oh, out, because well, I was off just by a month, but I was trying to remember because I know so many people they're like, Sagittarius and Capricorns, and that's why I was kind of like thinking like, let me this. So, thank you, cousin. But yeah, so when he look like some people would talk. He's one of those people like I like the honesty. That's the same with the weekend, and I was seeing so many skits recently that bring burnt finance, and like I said, he's very toxic, but for personally me, you can't stop listening to. They say the same about Janae Akko. It's like the female version of toxic singers and the weekend. Now, some people tried to say like Bryson Tiller is in that same category, but I'm like, even though he had trap songs, a lot of his songs could is I don't think it's as toxic as Brent Faiyaz. We want to go like toxic R&B and situationships. I mean, a lot of times Brent Faiyaz, a lot of his stuff, even though it long, he be trying to get his girl back or trying to get somebody's girl, but usually he's that one particular girl back. And I got money and child, something like that, or whatever. But he be trying to get his girl back. But it was just interesting just to bring him up because I just seen the day, and this is the second time within the week I've seen a post about him ever since he cut off his signature fro off his head. And I wonder, even though he said quick retirement, are we ready? I know he recently had a new song that came out last month or something. But who else? Oh yeah, ding ding ding. Speaking of toxic people, but okay, Summer Walker. I know this is so off the subject, but speaking of toxic people, aka she named herself Miss Pizza Hut. Whatever. I mean, she be having sometimes some R&B songs, but toxic as well. What who else I can think of top of my head that is toxic or has toxic vibes, but don't flat out say toxic? Lucky Day. Lucky Day, personally to me, is a toxic person. Oh yes, yes she is very toxic. Even before we found out recently her with this rich the kid thing or whatever back and forth, whatever. Um, because yeah, she is very toxic, and this incident, how she responded to it, even proves how toxic she really is. And then also the thing that this child admit that she's addicted to surgery, which could be also indication she could be addicted to the pain medications afterwards as well. But that's a lot of issues as well. I'm not gonna sit here and critique people who decide to have surgery, to enhance their beauty standards. But there is something wrong where she just and then she want to get ribs taken out and shit and all this other stuff and then but that's pretty interesting that she was the side chick or whatever to Rich the Kid, but was this before around the same time she was worried about Little Meech when she was going him and the thing with the groceries? And she said, like, well, he wasn't married. He they getting married, so that doesn't count. So you broke up with Little Meech because of the same is the only time a relationship should be valued is when you're in one. Now, even though Rich Kid's toxin out and the whole thing within, I just thought about. I know I just went down the rabbit hole, something else, but yeah. But to me, Lucky Day happens to be like indirect toxic. Like he could sing, and he has like One of my favorite songs of him is Misunderstood. His first Painted. I think that the first album like studio got on was Painted. And even it's about song where they just either smashing or getting back together, fighting. But it's one of the most beautiful songs. But yet, it's about being in a situation and what's holding y'all together is basically exhaustion. And y'all getting back together, and the great sex keeps the toxicity going. But it's more so toxicity of his character afterwards. I know him background, his mom is being the code and all this other stuff, and obviously he never got help. It was problems with him and the child's mother who used to be on what's that reality show that used to be college not I was gonna say College Park, but what was it, College Hill? I think the reality show what it used to be for the black colleges back in the day, and when his child's mother she used to be on there, and how he didn't want to spoil her or there was problems in getting child support and stuff, whatever. So he kind of like this R&B series have toxic backgrounds, and it kind of shows. But I haven't listened to his last album that much. I probably should. But that's why I thought about Brent Fires was like recently, like the toxic person it is. But I don't think Bryson Tiller is as no, he's nowhere as toxic as him. Even though they kind of like, no, they didn't come around the same time. I actually heard about Bryson Tiller like a year ago prior to before him Brent Fires coming out, even though Brent Fires have been out, beforehand. Hmm. I wonder will toxic R&B continue to stay as long as it's good? Because I've been hearing a lot of people like Zay. I don't know if you heard like Zay France. He's dope, but he don't be having like toxic songs R&B. He have love songs, but at least he's not to me toxic. But I actually have found out what through the neighborhood talk like it was an ad at least a year and a half or something ago, and I've been listening to him ever since. And he's dope, but he's kind of to me is still underrated. Tone Sniff. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I don't know if he don't give me no toxic vibes, but he's dope too. Um, I'm just thinking about like I don't know how we went from Brit Fries, but I'm just ranting and ranting. Oh yeah, like Zay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I forgot exactly where Zay Francis from, but he's actually a dope like R&B artist to me. Whatever he's, like I don't think he really talks about like anything like toxic. He talks about love and situations, but he's also, he's funny as heck, and he seems to be really a people person, and that's what I like about Zay Francis. Well, he's kind of like to me, honestly, very slept on. Too. I mean, people starting to find out about him, but it seemed like he should be out there more, considering that he can sing and the personality and stuff like that. Speaking of new albums, I did listen like since we're talking about music, whatever. Was that Ardell or Briz Fires on Wale's last album? I only listened to Wale's album once. It was a good album. It's also to bring Brent Fires is a guy named Ardell. I think that sounds similar or in that same like category as Brent Fires. They're saying it's like the look up recommendations, but I haven't like heard like his catalog. But they were saying that they're very similar. So I would definitely maybe check out to see Odell. Like I said, I love some good R&B, even if sometimes if it is still toxic in some cases. But what? Oh my gosh! Does anybody? I am thinking about first. I was not going to watch The Reckoning, but I figured, like, well, not to look at a bias point because of 50 Cent being producing of it. I might as well go ahead because it'll have me understand when I have watched, like, the recaps of Bonnie Blue. I haven't, like, of Ashley Miller's yet, but that's the one so far where I kind of listened to, like, she had, like, almost as a whole, like, 3 hours, but she goes into great detail. And you see clips online all across, talking about snippets about it. And Modot J also, he goes from each episode. I think it's a 4-part miniseries with The Reckoning. But I figure like I might as well go ahead and watch it. Not be biased, but like whatever the 50 cent part is. But it does give a lot of information out. And a certain information which I think may not include. I think it was an article with Time before the trial was coming up, and it was 6 months that they did like an interview or did like an investigation and came out. So I may watch it. I may possibly do video to critique it or whatever, just to like to see. I mean, some of the information we knew up and down for years, but at the same time, I feel like it's very important. Maybe what do I think about it? You know, and whoever else had the time to watch it. Um, because y'all, if you think about it, it's been clues over the years, even say if you didn't finally start noticing, because if you seen like and now I did watch Make Into the Band, the original one. I didn't see when Danny DeCane, when he made the boy, he made the band. I did not see when he made the R&B groups or nothing. I didn't honestly did not watch any of those. I watched when he did, with Dylon Spitting Hot Fire, when he came out with the rap one with the R&B singer that actually's from Detroit. I forgot what. I'm not going to remember it on top of my head, but having them walk to Junior Cheesecake Factory when it was closed and the stuff that he had them do then. But just they were doing all this work and it was never a month. And I think also too, y'all, if y'all remember when Keisha Cole's, it was one of them series that she had out. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the snippet when she was kept trying to sing over and over again. Now there was these Keisha Cole, something I do, but it had something to do with the devil in there. And when she was kept trying to sing the part last night over and over again, and it was not enough. Regardless how she sang that part, taking the pain away, it wasn't enough. And she's like, I already gave like my left lung just trying to sing this shit. What do you mean it's not enough? And he just wanted to keep singing it over and over and over again. Whew, that's a lot. But I may can watch it. But you know what, y'all? If they made an expansion, I know a lot of people don't talk about this, cousin Nick, but do you remember speaking like the connection with Death Row? The singer that used to be like their main singer used to be Danny Boy. It was a guy that came after, I forgot what his name, after Danny Boy left. And the singer like I ain't mad at you, toss it up and stuff like that. And I remember seeing something that he said he came out with a memoir some years back. He also said admitted that he is a gay man now, you his kids. But when he said Mary J. Blige used to mess with him when he was underage, and then when you think about like, okay, I know Mary J. Blige used to be under him too. Yeah. Oh, oh, that's cool. But yeah, but I was like, it's like I just heard from that man's word, and I know he has a book out, but I was just like, excuse me? And then it just seemed like it's one of those things where once he said something about it, they don't really talk about it, and I'm just like, because, Danny Boy just been minding his business, used to make songs. I think he was underrated personally to me, but he was a big part of like the original, Death Row. Because I mean, I know like a lot of songs he used to be part of and sang had part of. But when he was admitting in the interview, I forgot who was honestly interviewing because it was a couple years ago. But I do remember him in the story talking. He was talking about, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, okay, that's what's up. But yeah, I just remember him was telling the story about, Mary J. Blige was up here messing with him when he was underage. So she part, possibly is one of them, like she might have some things that Kamala did learn when it comes with that stuff. But yeah, I just remember he was the one called her out about it. And I have not heard anything else, saying about Mary J. Blige besides him saying something about her and that behavior, y'all. Whoo. Yeah, that's why that's something I do need to probably add on Amazon on my list to get is in this MR because that's yeah I remember he was saying that he talked a lot about stuff in this book and with that and probably get but then oh yeah I forgot it because also too wasn't Jewel I mean because I know she died of complications she was the singer I was about to say F row I meant to say Death Row as well. Mm-hmm. Right. And Jewel, who was also a singer, what that's on depth what was that supposed to be the diss towards like Luke and everything. I remember hearing her voice, but also he was a victim of her as well, I think. I think he said that as well too, that Jewel borrowed him as well and did some let's say some little stuff with him when he was underage and she was a grown woman. Come to think about it, he's been, he survived, but like I remember that he said that as well about Ju. I know, like I said, I know she passed away a couple years ago. I think in complication with some type of cancer. What cancer is all the same. But yeah, I thought about that as well. But and maybe if they'd have like something to go into the death row or something where he can. I mean, he has a book, but I just thought like he kind of was slept on as far as telling his story as well and being in the business, because I didn't know he was a kid actually when he was singing and stuff. Anyway, I just remembered anymore, and but not knowing like anything past like for several years until he got older. Oh my gosh! But I remember one more thing. I don't know if y'all, if anybody's seen the Death Row, but this was like years ago. This is still we had VHS to tape, and I remember Casey and JoJo were so drunk, and they were just like on a beach. And I think it was in coincidence, it might have been tossed up or something, but Daddy Boy's in the background, and you got Casey and JoJo. This ain't allegedly. This is actually what happened. It was like supposed to be, behind the scenes Death Row tape and supposed to be right. It was like basically like it was like slash uncut slash behind the scene making in the video type of thing. And I just remember Casey and JoJo, they were so drunk, and especially JoJo be the main one talking about Johnny Gill is a F word, which is a derogatory term, and he kept saying over and over again and stuff like that. I don't know why, even before the day, but I'm like, what the hell? What is it supposed to do? Oh, yes. Oh gosh. Speaking of Death Row, because I know Dash, I haven't looked. It was in I seen in the recommendations that Dash was like at the end in all caps and then like calling you little bitch. You still have me money. I've not been paid in 34 something years. I even forgot that Dash used to produce as well besides rapping. And Snoop Dogg said his stuff was like, I'm gonna f you up. I'm not gonna f you up physically, but I'm gonna make you up because uh, you broke or whatever. But and then that's like I got the proof. He also had in his stories. He doesn't have any more. He has an AI picture. It was an AI, video clip of him tonguing down Snoop Dogg tonguing down Donald Trump in an AI thing. So yeah, so I don't know how that's gonna come out, but for that, it's been 34 years and they got beef, and I mean, it doesn't make it better that actually they're family, but also the fact that there's money involved in the thing with Death Row. I mean, even though like with this series can show okay, Puff is dangerous and stuff too, so, but we have to realize like with other people because I think then Snoop Dogg they said now that's one thing I haven't googled like Snoop Dogg and Tupac really weren't cool by the time unfortunately before he got before he got oh sorry about that y'all before he got under live now but I did hear they had beef and I don't know if it's got to do with something with loyalty. I don't know if it has something to do with money as well or but the Snoop and Dash they is kind of like I was surprised but not surprised Cause when Snoop Dogg for the Trump thing, he had all the stuff to say before, but then ended up performing that weekend with this inauguration. Yeah, I'm purposely mispronouncing it on purpose. Hey, hey, just came in because I can't see. Okay, but besides that, so yeah, we can. Yeah, there's some things behind Death Row too. That would be interesting to see if like somebody reached out to Danny Boy and he did any more interviews or had something had to do with his life as well. Cause I wonder since the new Death Row, I wonder are any new artists, I mean, are all the artists he have are just new. Now I heard October London a couple songs, he's dope. Also heard recently Jane Hancock as well. But I don't know if any of the new, like all the artists in the new Death Row are new, like just new people and not people besides Snoop Dogg being the only person there that was from the original Death Row. Cause oh, did you remember that one time when Suge was trying to bring Death Row back, and I think it was Crooked Eye, Corrupt, surprisingly, was on that roster, and when Left Eye was still alive, I think it was Nina, but it was meaning the gun. It was I remember that, and I forgot. I think it was another person, but I remember he was trying to do a new Suge Knight was trying to do the Death Row, but that didn't go anywhere. But I just remember the press and everything he was doing with that um that had came out. But yeah, that Snoop and Daz thing, I'm just wondering, is it going to be taking the lords? Is anybody else going to like come up with new stuff with Snoop Dogg, like like A B C D E F G, or what is the next steps, or is going to be back and forth? It's going to be between online because I remember seeing clips of the interview, and next minute Snoop Dogg had a message. Daz put it on his page, and I haven't heard or like followed anything else since. And I'm wondering like if the next steps is if they just gonna go keep going toe to toe or what's next. But it's kind of messed up if say if he didn't pay this man his money and then was trying to go on under and take what should belong to him. Talk about the toxic things of the industry, y'all. Hey, but besides that, like the Death Row, I'm surprised actually that Snoop Dogg decided to keep the name Death Row, cause just the connection of the name itself after all that stuff, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even want to even keep that name. To be honest with you, I would just change it. I would even if I name it Snoop Dogg, Dog Records. The dog. I mean, no, that would be the dog paw name, but something that ain't got to be back to the Death Row Records. Even though, like I said, at least listen to October London and Jane Hancock. Even though I heard a little bit more October London and then the Jane Hancock. At least those are so far they're really good, deep artists. I mean, good artists. I would honestly just revamped even down to the name and just left that alone. Okay, just start over completely because end of the day, that's reputation of letters is uh, you know death row. Cringe. I wouldn't want to keep a name that is posted and basically killing somebody in a electric chair. I mean that's just me and the connection with it, like or it like say when the devil dealer gets out and say if there was a chance that he in order to like keep some money and decides to sell well ain't like he already messed with every during their artists as far as messing them over financially wise anybody on that side too. But if there was a way where somebody said there's some probability like how some people, which I don't know, they still do that. Some people they have popular YouTube channels, formerly popular YouTube channels, and some people will sell their channels to people. Just and they'll give their channels to certain people. Sometimes whether they know them or not. I forgot who I used to watch, but that's how long they've been off the thing. They one time had sold their channel, introduced them. We didn't know who the heck it was, and they just took over the channel. Eventually, their name. So say there was a thing like, okay, well, to get these debts clear, at least have some money, you got to sell Bad Boy. There was a chance or some business transaction where that has to go down to that. My ass wouldn't want to deal with that bad and take that take. Oh no, we will not take that name. No, to throw away and start over. Um, I wouldn't want no attachment to that name. That's just like, well, I know Murder Inc. before Irv, passed for everything else, and when he got out, him and his brother with all that Fed situation going on, they had to change Murder Inc. to what, the Inc. So just the whole thing of like having the negative attachment to it, and there was a way changed, like I said, I would have changed the Death Row name, but that's personally me. But just like Bad Boy, if there's a way for people to buy that, and if there's a way to change that name, unless I can get the name changed, I wouldn't want nothing to do with that. But mm, y'all, I couldn't do it. I could not do it at all. I could not. But that's just like, it's just like it's not to be superstitious stuff, but like bad spirit. It just it's so much negativity attached to both of those record labels that I wouldn't, just Bad Boy or Death Row, that I wouldn't want any connection to that at all. But hey, I went a little ago. I was said I was just gonna give y'all 10 minutes. I gave y'all 10 minutes extra, but I felt like, especially saying one of my cousins and cousins here, that I would go ahead and say hi and just keep on like talking or whatever for a minute. And just because I just thought, I'll just be coming on top of my head, and unless I finally make a video, but at the same time, y'all hug and loves. Like I said, cousin Nika, I hope and hugs and loves for the rest of remaining year and y'all. And I'll definitely will see y'all in the next video. And y'all take care and hugs and loves, and y'all have a wonderful night. And we in for a new week. I mean, we about to be tomorrow's Monday. And some of us is about to be less than 30 minutes, and some of us it's not about to be. But hugs and loves, y'all, and I'll see y'all the next one.